What's going on here, man? We got a guy doing a Chris Collinsworth slide
in. Micah Hyde comes
Just like that.
You made it
man.
in. Practice is over, I take
Practice is over. Yeah,
welcome.
I don't think we're not in Buffalo anymore. I don't know what this is.
This is somewhere south. It's beautiful weather. Has been all week. It's been great.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we're cheating the hangman with the weather we've got this week. I'm actually going to mow my lawn for the last time when I get home today.
Nice.
So, got to do what you got to do. How you doing?
I'm doing great, man.
Yeah.
I mean, I got a new role on this team. I'm enjoying it. I'm enjoying coming here every day and just being a part of this opportunity that we have every week.
It's an adjustment, though, right? I mean,
It really is.
yeah, because when you're immersed in it 24/7,
Yeah.
Not only mentally but physically as well, and now you have to put the physical stuff on the side,
Yeah.
and then help guys, with your mental acumen for this game. That's a shift.
Yeah, it's tough. It was new. Obviously I was going into surgery with an open mind. I didn't really know what to expect, but after surgery, it was hard being away, and then getting back here last week, it was might have been even more difficult because I'm in meetings now, and I'm just like trying to help any way I can, but obviously
There's only so much you can do.
exactly. So it's tough, but I'm like I said, I'm excited to be back here.
What about the physical side of it? Are you starting to work on that as well?
Yeah, we got a bike upstairs, one of those sitting down bikes. So my man Lynn, we call it Tour de Lynn. We get on we get on the bikes together, and we just ride, and that's pretty much all I can do right now.
So what is the prognosis going forward? Like, how long a rehabilitation are we talking here? Is it months? It's months,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, it's definitely months. So before surgery, they said 6 to 9 months.
Okay.
9 months, obviously being
The long end.
Yeah, the very long end. Honestly, I feel great right now. If I were to call the doctor right now and tell him I feel great, and I want to try to do a little more, he's going to tell me to just calm down a little bit.
Right.
But it's
Don't mess with next.
It's kind of
for sure.
typical. If the surgery goes well, you feel really good.
Good.
The hard part is taking it easy during the early part of the recovery,
Correct.
so that you don't have setbacks later on.
100%.
Right? I mean, I've been through it. So yeah. I mean, it's
tough.
that's the hard part.
Yeah, it really is. It's tough because I feel good, and I'm out there, I'm catching balls, I'm able to throw a little bit. So
Particularly on days like today.
I know, right? Like I just want to go outside and just throw the ball around. But I understand this is going to be a process, and I'm able in the next couple of weeks to start working out a little harder.
All right, give us a little sense of your role with these guys. I know you sit there, and I mean, you got to be talking. Poyer now. Poyer's standing beside you.
Yeah.
Right. So, Damar, Jaquan are out there.
Yeah.
What are the kind of things that you can do for them? I mean, they're obviously, you guys know these guys, and they know the defense.
Paul's
and they
been
know
here
what they're
4
doing.
years.
Yeah.
I mean, these guys. I mean, he's a vet.
Yeah.
So it's really some nuances, I would think.
Yeah, I mean, I think that obviously we have a lot of experience between Poe and I, just being out there. So I know they haven't been on the field as much as us, but they've been, like you said, year 4. They've been in the locker room. They've been in the conversations. They see what we see in the discussions that we've had. So for myself and obviously Poe being out, we just give them confidence. Just going each and every day and try to give them confidence, give them some nuggets on what we may see in the film study and all that type of stuff.
Go ahead.
I was wondering how long, if you can remember back, when you and Poe got together in 2017.
Yeah.
When did you guys feel you reached that point in time on the field where it was just, you're not even talking anymore, you're just looking at each other, and you guys know how you're going to spin the dial on a quarterback or disguise or how long you're going to wait?
Yeah.
I mean, there's times where you too, but almost Poe more of the time, he's almost lining up out of position at the snap and somehow gets to where he's got to be.
Yeah.
When did you guys feel you reached that point? Because I'm trying to project it now for Jaquan and Damar. This is their third start together this week with Coach Rule and Poe out this morning. So when did you guys feel like you reached that point where it was just...
Well, to be honest, I would say the whole 2017 season was kind of just a learning process.
All right.
But I think that with what Quan and D-Ham were able to come in too and obviously learn from us and experience-wise, it's not going to take them a whole season.
Well, they've had more of an on-ramp than
So
you
they
guys
know.
did, because you guys just got dropped in here and bang on the field.
They learn the playbook and go out there in disguise. That's kind of what happened to us.
Yeah, right. So give us an idea. Well, give us these guys. What do they do well? I mean, because it takes so much. I mean, athleticism. But what does Jaquan do? What does Damar do? What do they bring to the table that may be a little different than you guys, good or bad or whatever?
Well, I think that
Be a coach for a minute and evaluate.
Yeah, I think that last week a lot of people saw what D-Ham's able to do in the run game just as far as hitting. He's gonna come down here and he's gonna hit. Obviously, he can play the ball in the air also. And then with Quan, I feel like when the ball's in the air, he's gonna go get it. But he's like sneaky. He's one of those guys that he has natural leverage. He makes tackles. You saw against the Dolphins game where he hit Tyreek Hill pretty good. But he's just low leverage. Makes good tackles, former wrestler, so he knows how to get guys down and stuff like that. So they both bring something to the table that maybe Poe and I don't. And it's just, for them just to catch up in that experience role and kind of learn from us.
Last week against the Pack, on the touchdown where they have Rodgers and they move the pocket, Ham got his hips turned.
Yeah.
What's the teaching moment there to prevent? I mean, he's by himself in center field, one-on-one. The guy's got a choice of anywhere.
Yeah.
Is there a teaching point there to make it at least less of an opportunity for a touchdown?
Well, I think that in that situation, obviously Rodgers is one of the best ever to play the game and buying time. He knows how to use his legs and buy time. And on that play, he kind of rolled out and then came back, which was able to. I don't know how exactly how much time it was, but I would say close to 7, 8.
It was at least
a long play.
Yeah, it was a long play. So with that, I feel like when I'm in that situation, I know I'm planning on Poe also being there. Or not just Poe, but another corner or somebody just being deep. So, he's running across the field. I'm able to cut it off. And if he comes back, I'm just hoping that someone else is, gaining some ground.
So he got caught on an island by himself.
Yeah.
So there's really nothing you could do there.
It was a tough play. And if you look on the front side, you had Quan with some depth, but there was a receiver right there also that he also had to play. So it was, it was one of those plays that, you just hope that, you get a little more rush so that you can kind of eliminate the time that he was holding the ball.
Otherwise, that's a tip your hat play to the offense.
Give it to him.
You got scheme that up.
100%.
Give us a little idea, peep into this week's game. Brownie and I have been talking. I mean, they got a quarterback who's young, and there's no way to sugarcoat it. He's struggled at times. Got a live arm, pretty good athlete. How do you approach this? Are you willing to gamble a little more, trying to fool him a little more, thinking he'll make a bad throw? Or is it more of a, if we just mind our P's and Q's, he's going to give it to us anyway, that kind of thing?
Well, I think this is one of those games that, you kind of got to understand your opponent. Obviously, they have a good defense, a young coach that preaches that, a new, second-year coach that preaches that, and a quarterback that's had some ups and downs. He's played well, but he's also, turned the ball over. That kind of sounds familiar. It sounds like us, years 2018.
Yeah, we had that conversation earlier.
Yeah,
he looks like Sugar High Josh.
Yeah. So I mean, when you know your opponent, you just gotta, we go in each and every week trying to get pressure on the quarterback.
Yeah.
So as long as you can do that, whether if it's Aaron Rodgers last week or Zach Wilson this week, you always want to get pressure on them and hope that the rush is going to get there, and then from there, the ball's in the air, you got to make plays on it. So. We understand this opponent, and it's always going to come down to stopping the run and not turning the ball over on offense.
Talking to Bill safety Micah Hyde here on One Bills Live. Benefit when you don't face a division opponent until Week 9 because you got plenty of new tape to watch. I mean, you got 8 weeks to work with. Their personnel because you play them twice a year, but when you're waiting half a season to play them the first time, does that change the dynamic? Does it help for preparation? Where do you kind of come down on that when you're already halfway through the season? You still haven't seen him yet.
Yeah, I think that this is the point of the season where teams can kind of separate themselves, or they can also fall to the bottom of the pack. So that being said, this team has been playing well. Obviously, they had a hiccup last week. But this is a good football team. So I think it's given us time to be able to understand that. You play a team week 1, you never know what you might get.
Yeah.
Right. But this is kind of that midpoint of the season where you understand the team well, and it is a divisional opponent. We know their personnel and stuff like that. So you know, it's going to be a tight game, and I think as long as we understand that, it seems like every divisional game is like that.
Well, I was telling Steve, like, we saw what the point spread is and what people in Las Vegas think. That's one thing. But wacky stuff always seems to happen down there. You remember the 18-10 game where it's all field goals for you guys to win that? I mean, nobody thought it was going to be, you know what I mean? Like, there always seems to be something off kilter that happens down there. That stadium is just like, I don't know what it is.
It was that way when it was Giants Stadium rather than MetLife.
Yeah.
It's a weird thing. And we heard today that the Jets, Jets chant, he's got that on full volume out there. You got to get used to that. That really, people downplay that like as a gift. That helps when you go in there, because when you hear on the loudspeaker or in the stadium what you have heard all week,
100%.
it gives you a sense of, you know what, we're ready for these guys.
Yeah,
we knew what they were. We knew that was going to happen. We know what's going to happen on the field.
We know what music's going to play.
We even know what music. We know what you're eating for your pregame meal. You know, that kind of stuff.
It's
It
big.
really gives you a sense of like, hey, we're ready.
It's big. It's big. You gotta, you know, mentally going into a game, you gotta kind of visualize before you get in onto the field.
That's
so
right.
whether if it's a JETS, Jets, or knowing where the play clock is, or knowing what your locker room looks like, what uniforms you're wearing, all this type of stuff that like people might not realize that we really pay attention to, because you got to visualize. We all like to visualize and have routines going into a game. So when you're able to visualize, you just feel like you go out there and when something happens, I've seen this before.
That's right.
When I know film carries the day in terms of the preparation for an opponent, but when there are numbers to back up what the film is showing you, how much of a reinforcement is that? And I guess an example I would use is, I think Zach Wilson, from what we've read, is the lowest rated passer in the league when he's under pressure.
Yeah.
Now you see that's probably evident on film at times too, based on the study that you guys do. When it's reinforced in the numbers, how much does that solidify whatever the game plan might be for a given week?
Well, I mean, I think that's huge. I think as long as you have a stat like that and you understand that, I mean, no matter what, you're gonna try to get him outside the pocket,
Right.
And usually when he's outside the pocket, he's under duress, which brings his passer rating or his QBR or whatever down. So I think as long as you understand, it just always starts with the pass rush, and that's why we, the guys that we have up front, we live or die with them. I love the way they get after the quarterback, and hopefully they do the same this week.
Yeah, one last. So 27's back out on the field. He brings his own. Menu.
He was dancing today. We saw.
Yeah.
What's that been like? What are your thoughts about him? What's he been saying about how excited he is? I'm sure that if he does, and we come back this week or next week or whenever, it'll start slow, like they ramp him up. But got to be nice to have Trey back.
It's awesome. It's awesome to have Trey back. You can just slowly see him become himself more. Obviously I'm dealing with what he went through before, and just kind of you kind of feel a little isolated. Being away from the guy, or not being able to be on the field, but. Coming back here and seeing him from the day he got surgery until now, from where he was until now, I just I'm so proud of him. Just the hard work he put in, and 2-7 is a big part of our team, our locker room, our feel. Like, he just brings so much personality, and Sean, obviously he preaches personality. Like, be yourself here in the building. And when Tre'Davious got healthy, and he's back practicing on the practice field and all that, it's amazing to see, and I can't wait for him to get out there and make some plays.
We were talking about this the other day before we let you go here. Trey's always been a finely tuned athlete. We know that. All you guys have to be if you're going to be successful in this league. But with him not able to do anything but train, does he look a little more rocked up to you? Because he looks more rocked up to me. Like,
there was a few times where I saw him in the weight room over the last couple months. I'm like, geez, dude, like, relax.
He's always been lean.
You're going to get too big. But even when he got on the field and I watched him, I think it was last week, just like his breaks, you forget how twitchy he is. You forget how he stops on a dime and he comes out of it.
Yeah.
And just seeing that again, I was just like, oh my gosh, like that's the Tre'Davious White that we all remember. And like I said, I can't wait for him the first play that he makes. Oh man, I'm gonna be so excited for him, because that's just a monkey lifted off his shoulders.
Yeah.
That's
Well,
good.
Micah, thanks for the time
coming.
here.
Good
We
to
look
see you,
forward
man.
to
We'll
bringing
see
you
you,
in
man.
here on Fridays.
Thank you.
We'll keep you busy, man.
I
We'll
love
give you
it.
some extra stuff to do here.
Please.